Hello, 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 and welcome back to DLA Alternative. It's your boy Brandon, and I hope everyone is doing phenomenal as always. And thank you to everyone who keeps subscribing, liking, and following this journey. We are on the road to 1K, people, so keep helping us get there. We are so very fucking close. We're almost at 900, so keep subscribing, people. But yes, as you can tell by the thumbnail and title, we are going to jump right back into it with the Alias Investigation Part 2. And in this one, we are going to talk about T. Bridges again real quickly, and this is just going to be a short one, okay? Because there is something that no one in the first part mentioned, people. So if you did not check out that part 1 of this theory, go check that one out because it's pretty cool. And we talked about the name T. Bridges and what it could mean connecting to that Chapter 7 title of Season 5 being the bridge, and the meaning of the bridge of memory and the bridge of time, and how it connects all the way back to just the reference in the name T. Bridges, which we see on an article all the way in Season 1 with Hopper and Powell at the Hawkins Library. And we noticed that article in the Hawkins Post Theories Parts 1 and Part 2, so go check those ones out as well. But in this one, we're going to just talk about T. Bridges again, and the thing that every single Murray Bowen in the fam has missed, okay? And you guys, nobody said it, all right? The thing I left out, okay, is the most obvious thing about the name T. Bridges that I'm very surprised that no one actually said anything. But people, we have to listen to Dustin. Don't forget what Dustin says in Season 4, okay? The world is full of obvious things which nobody by any chance ever observes. What? Sherlock Holmes. But anyways, okay, the obvious thing that no one realizes is the actual name, people. Look at the actual name. It says T. Bridges, okay? It says T. Bridges, okay? And if you don't understand what I'm talking about, all right, in part 1 of this theory, we just assumed that the name T, okay, refers to the word the, because that's what we were connecting it to, was that Chapter 7 title for Season 5 being the bridge. And in Part 1, we were just considering and assuming that the letter T refers to the name or the word the, being the Bridges. But if you really think about it, and we're trying to turn the letter T into an actual word, well, just by saying the name T, we have a word right there, and we can spell it 2 different ways. We could spell it like golf with T-E-E, or we could state the obvious, and we could spell it like tea, the drink, being T-E-A. And if we do that, people, that's what's going to send us on another fucking journey that will connect a lot of things in this show, and a lot of things as symbols in this show. And if you have not caught on already, okay, yes, tea as in the drink, T. Bridges, and how do those 2 things connect? Well, if any of you people out there, or if any of the fam are actual wizards and love Harry Potter, you would understand exactly what I am talking about. And trust me, I love Harry Potter so fucking much. If you guys ever want to talk about that, that new series is giving me some creeps, though, with all of those casting and those fucking articles that are coming out about it. But if you love Harry Potter, just like I do, I have proof of it right here with the Deathly Hallows tatted on me. But if you love those movies and those books and you understand what I'm talking about, yes, tea leaf reading, people. Tea leaf reading in Harry Potter is associated with Professor Trelawney, okay? And she can see the future. She's supposed to be psychic, all right? Whatever the fuck. But basically, you should know, people, if you've seen those movies or read those books, that they use tea leaf reading in that, and that's a big and major thing in those movies and books. Harry Potter sees the black dog, okay? He sees a black dog in his tea leaf reading when they're in class, okay? And that leads them on this whole journey through that whole movie, Part 3, The Prisoner of Azkaban. But in this, which I'm so amazed and I'm so happy that there's a connection between the 2 in one way or another, being tea leaf reading. But if you connect the name T. Bridges to tea leaf reading, okay, then and look up what the bridge is in tea leaf reading, it gets super fucking interesting, and there's so many connections. So in this one, let's just talk about it. Let's look up some stuff and let's just see what it says, okay? In tea leaf reading, a bridge symbol typically signifies a significant transition or journey ahead, representing a change or new phase in your life, often associated with a successful trip or important decision that will lead you to a new place or perspective. So that right there connects to the time bridge and the memory bridge that we talked about in part 1 of this theory, because it talks about perspective and it talks about understanding all of that. And it makes a lot of sense, the connection just with tea leaf reading to those 2 things now. So it's very odd how these connections are just like a fucking rabbit hole. But anyway, sorry for swearing. I'm going to try and tone it down. I've been getting some comments about it, and I can't keep my mouth shut. I'm like a sailor, people, and I've never been in the Navy. But anyways, let's just look at the key points. Change and transition. The bridge represents the act of crossing from one point to another, symbolizing a shift in your life situation. Next one, new opportunities. Seeing a bridge can indicate new opportunities or experiences coming your way, prompting you to embrace change. That is very interesting to this show because we see some of our characters that they do not want to embrace change, and Will is one of those specifically, and we see that a lot in season 3 and somewhat in season 4, but he's just closed off and closed-minded, and he's not really talking about his feelings until everything is fucking going crazy and all shit's broken loose in Hawkins. But anyways, next key point, people, let's keep going. Connection and bridging gaps. Bridges can also symbolize connecting with others or bridging gaps between different aspects of your life. Aspects. Sorry, I said that word wrong. But that's very interesting right there because that actually connects directly back to our part 1 of this theory with the memory bridge and the time bridge. So once again, we have another connection to part 1 just with tea leaf reading, which had no involvement with part 1 at all. But let's look at more key points, and these are important considerations to refer to when considering the bridge as a symbol, okay, in tea leaf reading. Location in the cup. Where the bridge appears in the teacup can add further meaning. For example, a bridge near the handle might represent a change happening closer to home. So in this show, we know there's a lot of change happening close to home. So no doubt in my mind, the bridge is closer to that fucking handle in whatever cup or whoever's cup it's actually in. And I don't know exactly what that means yet, but there's a reason why location matters because I looked something else up. But let's look at these next key points real quickly. Other symbols present. Consider other tea leaf symbols near the bridge to get a more nuanced interpretation. So that's very interesting as well because that means that there could be other tea leaf symbols that mean completely other things, all right, that are also in that cup or whoever's cup with the bridge meaning that means all of this shit so far. So that's very interesting because I don't know what a lot of tea leaf reading means, and I don't know what a lot of these symbols actually are or actually mean or what could be connected to the bridge. So that's going to be very interesting, and we're going to talk about that later, trust me. But let's get to this last key point, all right? Personal context. Ultimately, the meaning of a bridge symbol is best understood by considering your own life situation and what the bridge might represent for you personally. So the thing that's interesting about that is that we have connections to certain characters from part 1 of this theory. We have a culprit of who T. Bridges could be, possibly being Jim Hopper, because he's involved with a lot of these scenes that we see this T. Bridges name, or see things that are connected that led us on the journey that found T. Bridges, okay? But the major thing is, in part 1, we talked about the memory bridge and the time bridge, okay? And those things, no doubt in my mind, are connected to other characters, not necessarily just Jim Hopper. Those could be connected to Eleven, those could be connected to Max, to Vecna, and also to Will, because Will sees visions. But in my opinion, this last key point kind of refers a little bit more towards Eleven and Will, if you ask me. Let me know your thoughts about that. It just seems a little bit more like them rather than Hopper, because they have a little bit more importance in this show, and they definitely are going to have a lot more importance to the bigger outcome to this show. And I think Hopper will, but not as much as them two, no doubt in my mind. But after reading all those key points, okay, we have some meaning of what the bridge could relate to and the symbolism and what to look for, okay? And the things to look for are what is important, all right? And it says location, and it says that there could be other symbols involved. So basically what we're going to do, we're going to end this part of this theory just with this, because I want to put this on you, because we're going to jump into the next part of this theory, which will connect, okay? And that's going to talk more about all of the tea leaf symbols and how they connect to this show as a whole, because trust me, almost all of the ones I've looked up have some sort of symbolism to this show. And trust me, there's like 40 to 50 of them that all connect to this show one way or another. So I know we are onto something with this T bridges being referred to tea leaf reading, as well as the memory and time bridges, okay? There's a big connection to this T bridges fucker. Shit, sorry, that was a mistake. But anyways, I just wanted to look up more about what the bridge actually means in tea leaf reading, okay? And it led me on this journey that we're going to talk about in the next part. But basically what I found, it says this. It says it connects two places or alternatively two worlds. The bridge in a symbolic meaning is associated with firstly the consciousness and secondly the unconsciousness. So no doubt in my mind, people, we're getting a big connection here once again, and that is 11 in my opinion. She's the one that we see traveling unconscious, but same with Vecna, and also same with Max is also unconscious. So if Max is connected to this bridge one way or another, then that's going to get very very interesting for season 5 somehow. But it continues and it says, perhaps the bridge can be associated with the past in the present, which makes perfect fucking sense to this show, people. Let's keep going. And real quickly, this is the kicker, and trust me, we're about to get into location, and there is something that's going to blow your minds, people, if you guys did not know this already. It says, even the earth and heaven, it is difficult to be able to visualize within the teacup whether it is a bridge or in fact a rainbow. So no doubt in my mind, people, we are onto something. Let me know your thoughts. Let's keep going because it starts to talk about location, which is what drew me on the interest to look up more symbols. It says, in essence, the bridge within your tea leaf reading is connected to reality and fantasy. It is a symbol of growth and new beginnings. There is a focus on career, and for a bridge or rainbow type shape to appear in the tea leaf reading indicates that you are likely to stay in the job than to chop and change. So no doubt in my mind, we have a connection back to Hopper again, because that's kind of what we talked about in the bridge of time meaning. Because with that bridge of time, that's a time to contemplate on your past events to shape your present. So no doubt in my mind, there's some connection right here, but this basically says that could be a symbol depending on where it's at, and if it's actually a rainbow or a bridge, that could depend on your job, and that you might not be changing your job, and that you're supposed to stay in whatever you're doing. And if that's connected to other characters, people, that's going to be even more fucking interesting. But then it keeps going and says you could possibly remain in an interesting employment. This is because of the income. The bridge all rainbow is very much connected to the money and financial affairs. So people, for thinking logically, what's the connection right here? Because now it's talking about finances, all right? And how does this connect anything, all right? Because in my opinion, money doesn't have a lot to do with this show except for Mayor Klein and that fucking deal apparently that he made. He says he shakes a lot of hands. And then in season 1, we see that Russian's shaking someone's hand, but we do not know whose hand he is shaking. And we really don't know anything about that, okay? Until like season 3 when the Russians actually invade and are coming into Hawkins with Starcourt Mall and shit. But the major point is that we have a connection to another writer's name that can talk about possible finance problems, all right? And that writer's name being our boy Benjamin Buck, okay? The name Buck referring to cash, people. So obviously this is talking about two completely different symbols, but when we get into the tea leaf symbols, there's some interesting connections to those other writers' names as well. So if we're on to something, people, like I think we are, just let me know your thoughts. But this is getting very interesting, if you ask me. I'm fucking excited. But these next parts is what's going to end this theory. And we're going to talk about the location real quickly, specifically with the bridge, or I guess the rainbow now. And it's going to talk about the top, the middle, and the bottom of the cup, okay? And that's what we're going to end this theory off, so let me know your thoughts. The top of the teacup. For this symbol to appear at the top half of the teacup suggests that you are suited to any occupation in which you use your imagination. This could possibly be any musical or artistic career. Well, we know an artist in this show, people, but everybody else in this show is shit at art, and we know that. Sorry for swearing. But who is our artist in this show? Our artist in this show is our boy Will, people. So now we're even getting more connections to Will, and we have some more connections to 11 because of the tea leaf meeting, and not the bridge of time and not the bridge of memory, which is associated with them both way more, people. But in that conversation, that connection drew us on a connection more to Hopper, so this is getting very confusing, but the tea leaf reading is making a lot more sense to me, in my opinion. But the next part of the cup, it says the middle of the teacup. Appearing in the middle of the teacup, the bridge or the rainbow suggests that you will reach your destination. So if somebody in this show is doing tea leaf reading for any fucking reason, or if this actually has symbolism, that middle of the teacup is where we want to see it, all right? That's where we want to see the rainbow, is right in the middle, all right? Rainbow. Sorry, I'm not enunciating today. Anyways, the bridge at the bottom of the teacup. This symbol denotes that you will be saved of your troubles by the most fortunate kind of intervention. You will surmount difficulties and make progress even in the obstacles. Your path is prepared. You have on. Go forward in faith. So jumping to conclusions that the middle of the cup sounds the best, now we see the bottom of the cup. So which one actually sounds like the best, people? The bottom of the cup sounds the best, no doubt in my mind. But the thing about the tea leaf readings, all that is for this show in this connection is symbolism, people. It's imagery. So the thing, like I said, this is going to end this theory, but in this next part of this theory, it's going to be the tea leaf reading theory, okay? And we're going to talk about more symbols that connect to tea leaf reading and connect directly to our show of Stranger Things. And no doubt in my mind, tea leaf reading is pretty fucking strange. Oh my gosh, sorry, I cannot stop. I am a sailor. But let me know your thoughts about all this, people. I hope you guys like this one. We got led on a journey, and it was awesome, in my opinion. It's very exciting to see all these connections in the symbolism. These creators, being the Duffer Brothers, Sean Levy, and everybody that works on this show, is truly, truly phenomenal. If I ever have a chance to work with you guys one day, if this channel blows up, all right, and if I ever get a chance to be a writer or something on a show, please let me work with you, because you guys are truly phenomenal. And more importantly, the fam, I love you guys. You guys are even more phenomenal. So keep subscribing, liking, following this journey. And as always, you guys already motherfucking know, and I'm sorry again, we out.